Dylan Klebold gives a kind of gift to his mom, who has urged him to go to the prom. His date is just a pal, in fact, the girl who bought 3 of the guns. He dances through the night dressed up in his tuxedo, all the time knowing 4 days later he is going to dress up again, arm himself, and go to school to kill and to die. The autopsy says by suicide.
April 20th.
We all got up very early. I hear him bounding down the stairs past our bedroom door and really going quickly and heavily out the door, as if he were late. And I yelled, "Dill," and he yelled, "Bye," and then sort of slammed the door.
You said it was edgy, nasty, a
It
kind of
was.
sneer.
Yeah, it was "Bye."
Her husband, Tom, says he's going to talk to Dylan when Dylan comes home.
There's something going on at Columbine High School. Columbine High School.
850 KOA News Time. We're a community in shock.
The media attention around the country. Let me just read you some of the headlines. School bloodbath. Suspects Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold.
The Klebolds flee their house, living, she says, like desperate nomads, despairing. The surreal agony of cremating her son. The agony of the funerals of his victims. In her journal, she writes, "I was worried about losing my sanity." After several weeks, she goes back to the state community college system.
I would turn on a radio and people would be talking about me and calling me a disgusting person.
She says a saving grace, the friends who still believed in them. When they were in hiding, their neighbors posted a sign on the driveway, "Sue and Tom, we love you, we're here for you, call us." And her colleagues at work helped camouflage her presence, no sign on the door.
But you could have escaped with a different name.
I did think about it. But the real thing that I finally realized was that I can't run from this. Changing my name and moving doesn't allow me to leave this behind.
She says for months and months, her mind was looking for any way to deny the truth. Maybe Dylan was on drugs, maybe he was forced to be there. She reached out to the victims' families, writing letters, but calling the incident a moment of madness.
I believe this was a moment of madness. I believe this was some impulsive fluke that happened suddenly.
Then, 6 months after Columbine, her denial is shattered. The Klebolds get a call from the lead investigator in the case, who brings them face to face with the inescapable truth of the evidence. Dylan took part in months of planning, in the purchase of the guns, and building 99 explosive devices, most of which failed to detonate, but were intended to kill hundreds and hundreds of people. And there he was on videotape, recorded as a kind of countdown to the attack. For more than 3 hours, a twisted manifesto of hate.
It was horrible to see those tapes. They were posturing, they were acting tough, they were talking about all the horrible things they were planning to do. I remember at one point standing up because I thought I was going to be ill and I might have to run out of the room.
She will make herself confront every merciless shot her son fired. She decided to put it in her book.
I tried to be as honest about that as I could. I didn't want to make it graphic, but I wanted to make it honest. Because, you know, from a mother's perspective, of course, there is a tendency to want to soften all the horrible things that he did.
But as we said, she lives in the hell of that contradiction. She has said, "I saw the end product of my life's work. I had created a monster." But still inside her, a mother's love for a son she lost. She hears the final word on the tape. He says, "Hey, Mom, I gotta go."
Just want to apologize for any crap this may bring. Just know I'm going to a better place. Goodbye.
He said, "Mom," just the fact that he said it meant a lot to me. Yeah.
The tapes never released. We're told they've now been destroyed. She writes in her journal, "All I want to do is die." Then, 2 years later, the woman who prayed to die is diagnosed with breast cancer. She says during the treatment, something made her decide to try to live and turn the horror into purpose.
You get to the point where you have to just sort of say, I can't stay with this level of intensity And I just want to I have to let some of it rest and say, I didn't kill these people. Dylan did. It wasn't me.
She says she begins a quest to learn more about violence, what she missed, lessons in the book.
I'm donating the money. I want to make sure that I give the money to mental health organizations and suicide prevention. And I don't know what else I can do, but I felt that I had to do everything I could do.
She talks to the parents of suicidally depressed kids about the way she wished she had probed and not dismissed or tried to fix everything.
You listen and you don't judge and you don't react in terms of, oh my God, you can't think that. You can't possibly feel that way.
Dr. Fritz says start by making time to sit in silence, open-ended questions. You don't need to have answers.
How did that happen? You must have felt terrible when that happened. I would have felt terrible.
Would you ask, do you feel suicidal?
Absolutely. If a parent is worried about that, they should say that. They should ask their
Can you
kid.
plant that idea in the mind of a...
I've interviewed hundreds and hundreds of kids who have attempted suicide. They never said, oh, somebody asked me about it and that tipped me over. They're thinking about it long before anybody asks, and oftentimes it's a relief to have somebody ask.
And Sue Klebold also talks to those other pariahs, the parents of other school shooters. So we had a question. What about the parents of Eric Harris? Does she blame them for what they missed?
I don't blame them. I don't. They are not Eric.
Have you talked to the Harrises recently? Do you want to?
I do talk with them occasionally. I don't feel able to represent them in any way, and I want to make sure that I protect their privacy.
That is all she would say. The Harrises would not return our calls. Coming up next, is there anything that might prevent a school shooting? We're going to show you when we come back.
There's no one I'd rather hit the road with.